Hello everyone, this is part 8 of What If Naruto Was Raised by His Father, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to share, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Join my membership, the perks are great. It's in the description. Be sure to like and subscribe, it gives me more motivation. Enjoy. To bad Christmas only comes once a year. That's what Naruto now thought as he looked at the book Arashi had given him. It was packed with all different types of jutsu and attacking styles he'd never seen, and even some shortcuts for doing some techniques. While Naruto had given the Hokage some of the disturbing books Kakashi likes, and new cape thingy. All in all, the older man's face was happy the whole day. He wore it around for most of the week till it needed a wash, then he put on his other one. He remembered the Hokage looking at his closet carefully and inspecting it for quite a long time, that when Naruto noticed him picking between his white and red cape, or his navy blue and white one. Naruto mentally laughed as he walked down the road. It was now January 5th, and he was bored. His home would be fixed up by the end of the week, which meant he had to leave the Hokage's, but he had to admit he didn't hate it there at all like he thought it would. Sure, he had done missions before that lasted sometimes a month, so he'd always be around people. But that was usually forced, but now, he was just happy because he knew the retired Hokage just wanted him around for his company. Then he started to wonder what the fourth would do after he was gone. Naruto then turned his gaze to the ever cloud-full sky. He noticed a few messenger birds fly every which way. That didn't seem to bother him, but when a snowy white owl landed in front of him he looked at it oddly. He kept his hands behind his head as he looked down at it. He gave the quite large bird a questioning look before it turned around to show a small container that was used for letters. He ever so slow looked at it before he picked out the letter and looked at the scroll. It had Uzumaki Naruto written on it in gold writing. Naruto wasn't all that sure to open it, but being him not taking it to the Hokage, he opened it. Then from out of the blue a kunai came thrusting out of it, causing Naruto just to barely miss it. It just grazed the side of his cheek. He looked behind him to notice it landed in the side of a run-down looking building, in which he called home. Naruto then looked down at the scroll, not sure it to read it or not. But on his worst judgment he read it. Dear Uzumaki Naruto, it has been a while, has it not? Since we last met, those 2 years ago. I knew you would be dumb enough to open this letter in a secluded area, because if anyone had heard your little yell when my kunai flew at you would have taken this to the Hokage herself. And I know for a fact the old bag doesn't have this because the blood drawn from that attack only activated this. So did you like the little bang I sent you? Little bang? What are you talking? Oh, thought Naruto as he looked at the kunai and in slow motion watched it blow up, causing him to jump away into the trees. I am probably thinking that you didn't like my fun. Well, I don't really care, I just wish I could be there to see the look on your face. Wait, no, actually I wouldn't step near that pathetic village of yours. Well, once I could have said ours. But now I don't think of that pit hole in the leaves is any type of home. Who the hell is this, thought Naruto. You are most likely thinking, who is this, right? And if not, you're as slow as you ever were. Now do you have any idea who I am? No. Now Naruto, don't think I am writing to you because I miss you or anything. The only reason I am writing to you is because Orochimaru told me I had to. I am quite amazed you haven't been looking for me for the past year. Not to say I wasn't disappointed, but it would have been fun to say to watch you screw up, and your little dreams get crushed. Anyways, Naruto, Orochimaru seemed to have lost a certain, how shall we say it, test subject, and it seems he has turned up in Konoha. And he seems to want him back, and we know that you are the only one to lead him to us. But I knew you wouldn't let your perfect Hokage, so the Sannin would like to strike a deal with you. Bring the Hokage to border of Earth and Fire country, and I will go back to Konoha. You have exactly 1 week to think about this, Naruto. And you might as well show the Hokage, doesn't really matter which one. But I wonder what Sakura would say if you told her what this said. Now Naruto, just keep that in your mind. Uchiha Sasuke. Naruto looked over what the scroll said a few dozen times. What did he mean by, wonder what Sakura would say? Thought Naruto as he suddenly noticed the white owl seemingly to be gone. Why would Sasuke send me this? I can't go, can I? I can't just leave Konoha, it seems to be a trap. Any fool can tell that, but would Sasuke really come back, and what would happen to the fourth? I can't just drag him out there for no reason. And even if I do show him this, he would probably say no, but why would the Snake Sannin want him anyways? It just doesn't make sense, unless. No, he wouldn't. No, that's not possible, but he would. I wouldn't put it past the psycho, thought Naruto to himself as he found himself sitting down to the ramen stand. How is that I always seem to end up here whenever I am troubled or happy? I think this ramen has some sort of affect on me, thought Naruto as a huge bowl was set in front of him. But the odd thing was he didn't even make a move for it for about 5 minutes. That's when the cook's daughter took notice. Naruto, is there something wrong with the dish? I could make another if you like, said Ayami as she looked down at the blonde boy. Oh, no, that's all right, thanks, smiled Naruto as he placed the scroll on the table and picked up some chopsticks and began to eat. Both the cooks looked at him weird. The usually happy bright boy was all sad and gloomy. They hadn't seen him this way since Sasuke Uchiha left. And even then he was never this depressed. People passed by, unknowing the sadness, until a certain pink-haired girl noticed Naruto eating rather slowly. She was only going in to give a short hello, but then got sidetracked upon looking at the boy's face. Naruto, this isn't like you. Why do you look so gloomy? Asked Sakura as she gazed at her old teammate. Oh, Sakura, it's you, said Naruto as he tried to grab the scroll, but Sakura got it before him. What's this? Nothing, said Naruto as he tried to grab it away from her. Doesn't look like nothing to me, said Sakura as she was about to open it when he successfully got it, dropping money on the table and jumping back about 5 feet. What are you hiding, Naruto? Quote, is it news on Sasuke? Quote, Naruto, USHOULDN, keep secrets from your teammates, laughed Arashi as he clamped a hand on the boy's shoulder, causing him to flinch and look at him. Naruto's eyes widened at the sight of the tall blonde, but then he quickly used body flicker to hide himself away. Quote, what's got into Naruto today? Said Sakura as she watched an orange blur disappear. Sakura, when did you notice Naruto to start acting weird? When I wondered about that strange scroll. Lord Hokage, said Ayami as she looked at the Hokage and slowly walked towards him. Yes, what is it? I do not mean to eavesdrop, but I couldn't help but overhear it. You see, Naruto came by looking rather gloomy, his cheek was bleeding, from what looked like a kunai, or some sharp object, and he smelled of gunpowder to me. Gun, powder, exploiting tags sometimes, scroll, kunai, part of town. Lord Hokage, do you know something? Asked Sakura as she looked at the blonde. I may, Sakura, just leave Naruto to me, and go help the other ninjas clean up on the east part of town. Clean up? What exactly happened? I am about to find out, said Arashi as he quickly dashed away, already figuring where Naruto had gone. Why am I never to know anything? Yelled Sakura as she stormed off towards the east part of town to see half a building blown up. Quote, Lord Hokage, you owe me, muttered Sakura as she started to help the other ninjas. Where did that boy get to? Muttered Arashi as he starched the back of his head looking for the pain in the ass blonde. He had been searching now for over an hour, and it really was starting to tick him off. He wasn't having much fun with this. As he looked around more, he noticed the blonde sitting in the training grounds where they all basically used to train. The Hokage walked towards the boy who seemed in utter confusion and perfectly lost. Oi, Naruto, what has gotten into you, eh? What's this? Asked the Hokage as Naruto just plainly held the scroll out to the Hokage. He slowly took it but didn't open, just waiting for Naruto to speak. Quote, I did a lot of thinking this past hour. And this was the best I could come up with. This was the only thing that popped into my mind. I knew you may understand a little of why I am confused, but I can't say that I don't trust Sakura, but when it comes to him her mind seems to go totally blank, and whatever we can do to get him back she will try and do it, but I was hoping you would follow me instead of her. I know I should give this to the fifth, but you're really the only one I am able to trust at this moment. Because what lay in that scroll also deals with you, said Naruto as he slowly turned his gaze to the Hokage. To me, please, just go ahead and read it. I All right, Naruto, said Arashi as he quickly unrolled the scroll and began to read through it carefully and quickly. Once that task was done, he looked at Naruto with a shocked face. Naruto, tell me how you got this. A white owl. An owl. Yeah, I was watching some of the birds fly by, and that one stopped in front of me. First I thought it was dumb and got lost, but then I took the scroll thinking it was addressed to the Hokage herself. But my name was written across it. I see. And, I know that I have been looking for Sasuke for so long, our time is soon up to retrieve him, because the Sannin takes over his body. But I think the only reason the Psycho brought you back was to take over your body, even though Sasuke has a bloodline trait, you're more special, because you can basically be undefeated, and while you weren't paying attention to me, I trained, and I learned the jutsu you couldn't do. What? You mean the... Yeah, when did you get time to? It was all a matter of 24 hours. Really? Yeah, now what about? Yes, this we will have to deal with, won't we? This could prove quite difficult. In order to understand the Sannin, which is impossible, he would most likely have 3 people with him. Then we would have to have at least 4, you, Sakura, the old pervert. And I. But you can't just. Come now, Naruto, trust me, nothing will happen, okay? You're positive? Have I lied yet? No. Then let's go, we will have to bring this to the Hokage, and you are to come with me. I still can't get over the fact that I can still say Hokage and not refer to myself. Weird. Well, come on, Naruto. Right, said still a glooming child. Don't make me force you into black again. Fine. I'm coming, yelled Naruto as he ran to catch up to the blonde who was laughing. You're a good kid, Naruto. Naruto sat at the ramen stand. It was the first time in his probably entire life he was just poking at the food. He gave a low sigh. As he reflected on what happened the night before, he wasn't looking forward to finding Sakura and Sai to tell them they know where Sasuke is, and the 4th and the other 2 were supposed to go and get him, but that was just it. What would Sakura say? Would she care if it meant handing the 4th over? No, she wouldn't, but he has been wrong about the super strong pink-haired girl before. As Naruto poked more at the food, Ayami leaned over the side and looked at the blonde for a few moments, and then said, Naruto, is there something wrong with it? She asked as she looked at her father's #1 costumer. Naruto tilted his head slowly up. His face showed no expression, just troubled sadness. What? You are not eating my ramen? Then there must be something wrong. Let me fix you up another. No, there's nothing wrong with it. Just me, muttered Naruto as he tore the chopsticks apart and began to eat. He sat there eating for quite a while. It was now midday and he slowly placed his money on the table and walked away. His hands were in his pockets. His head was low. He didn't know what to tell her. This was hard. He's never had to deal with something this hard involving people in so long. As he slowly walked down the road, many thoughts filled his head. He wasn't even sure she should tell her. Maybe I can just not tell her. No, the Hokage wanted the 4 of us to go. Damn, maybe I can just tell her about Sasuke and not the Yondaime part. Yeah, that could work, but still she would give anything for that jerk to come back. What am I to do? Thought Naruto as he kicked a few loose pebbles. As he continued to walk down the dusty road, it started to rain slightly. First it was just minor, but after a while it came down harder. Naruto looked at the sky and gave a short glare at it. Single quote. That's right, make the mood more depressing and tragic. Thought Naruto as he stared straight ahead to see a magenta-haired girl trying to get the children to go inside before they got too wet and cold. Naruto took a glance over to the girl. Their eyes met for an instant, then they both turned away without another word. Hinata and Kiba never did go out after. He had found an interest in a young ninja from a friendly village, leaving Hinata alone. He had never actually wanted to ask her out. It was just a crush, but then someone else came by. And Hinata hadn't told Naruto or remotely spoke to him. He had heard it from Shino one day at the ramen stand. And Naruto had no intention of speaking to her till he felt it was right. As he continued to walk away in the rain, Hinata took a step forwards to act as if she wanted to reach out to him, but pulled away at the last second and silently watched once again like she had her whole life as Naruto walked away looking depressed. Naruto had noticed that she had actually tried to talk or move but then stopped like she normally had done. He tilted his head downward and stared down at the ground once more. As he wandered around, he found himself always passing the Hokage's faces. No matter where he ended up walking, he would end up there. As he silently stopped walking, he glanced up towards the faces without any emotion whatsoever. He just stared as if to find an answer to all his problems, like he would when he was a child, always thinking there was a reason behind the people's hatred. And when he found out, he wished he didn't. He just looked and stared. First there was the two brothers. The first two Hokages who had been brothers. Alas, the brothers Hokage. Then he gazed at the third. Old man Hokage, I wish I could get advice from you now when I need it most. Then he slowly gazed at the fourth and a pang of hurt went through him. He then clutched his chest and looked at the fourth's face. The thing with Naruto was he didn't want to lose the blonde idiot. But he was scared that if the fourth actually went, then he might not come back, and not just for a short while but forever. Naruto didn't want to think of losing the blonde man, but why? Why was it Naruto was so attached to this man? It was strange, he couldn't figure out why this man was so different from everyone else. He had an unreal connection. Was it the fact that Naruto thought of him as a father figure? No, I don't think of him that way, muttered Naruto over and over in his head. Then he swiftly looked at the fifth's face, and he gave a slight chuckle. It always made him laugh to see her there. He probably knew her the best out of everyone his age, and he wasn't very scared of her really, except when she hit him. And he then pointed to the carved stone to Arashi's face and gave his cheeky huge grin and said, one day I will surpass you. Smiled Naruto as he gazed at the stone some more. Then he felt a presence behind him and the rain suddenly stopped around him. As Naruto looked, there was Sakura looking at him like he was an idiot. Naruto, what are you doing out here in the rain? You'll get sick, said Sakura as she looked at the blonde. Quote, quote. What's wrong, Naruto? You seem a bit out of it. I know you normally talk to the mountain, but you look a little odd. Sakura, I do not talk to the mountain, and maybe you should sit down first, said Naruto as he led her, still not under the umbrella, to the shelter at the school. The only place close enough to them. And since everyone was in class, he could talk freely to her. Once they were under the shelter, he looked at the bag she was holding and looked kinda scared. Naruto, what is the matter? Before I tell you, you might want me to hold onto that. Naruto, I am capable of holding a bag. Quote, quote. Naruto. Sorry, Sakura. So what is this about? I recently got a letter from Sasuke. Her face was emotionless. He figured she had no idea of it. And we have to go to the border to get him, bu. Sasuke, said Sakura as she then just let the bags drop, making Naruto quickly get them before they fell. Yeah, we're to meet him and Orochimaru there. We are brining the fourth, you, Sai and I, and Jiraiya will come as backup. But stay a little ways away in order just in case something happens, said Naruto as he stood up and saw that Sakura had eyes as wide as plates. You mean we could have a chance to bring Sasuke back? Smiled Sakura, but then a frown came just as quickly. Naruto, why did they ask us to come? What's going on? Quote, quote. Naruto, what are you hiding? Sakura, would you do anything to have Sasuke back? Yeah, why? I thought so, muttered Naruto as he passed her the bag and slowly turned around and began to walk in the rain. Wait, Naruto, what do you mean? Yelled Sakura as she waved to him, trying to get him to come back. But he just kept his head down and headed back home, or to Arashi's home. His was just getting done by the time they come back from getting Sasuke. It would be complete. Naruto continued to walk, passing Ino's family's flower shop. He then stopped in front of it and turned and walked in. Hair drenched, clothes sticking to him badly, just wet as a dog he was. He walked in and gave Ino quite a scare. She then realized who it was. He picked a bunch of white flowers, and laid them on the counter. Naruto, are you crazy? It's raining out. You're all wet, said Ino as she put her hands on her hips and looked at him. He just forced a cheeky smile upon his lips, and slowly pulled out his money. That will be $11.47, smiled Ino as she took the money from Naruto and giving him his change. She then gave a smile as she watched him shake his head a bit to get the rain off. That's when she noticed a depressed look upon his face. Never once had she known him for him to be looking gloomy. Maybe when Sasuke left, but now. Then she just had to ask. Naruto, is something the matter? Naruto stopped what he was doing, eyes a little wide for a moment, and just smiled and said, no, well, I'll see you later. Say hi to Choji and Shikamaru for me, smiled Naruto as he left. Wonder who the flowers are for, thought Ino as she watched him look up at the sky and glare at it. probably for it to continue to rain, and she expected him to dash off quickly like normal, but instead he just walked slowly. Naruto rounded a few corners and ended up at the training grounds. He gave a small smile and placed his hand atop the wood. Rain slowly fell onto his hand, sliding down the sides of it and onto the wood, and slowly running down the side of it till it reached the ground. He remembered when Kakashi took them there, for the stupid bell practice. But he had to admit it was good. Maybe he'll remember to use it on the kids I one day train with, smiled Naruto as he continued to walk. Maybe for at least another 5 to 6 minutes he made it to the dark stone with a few flagpoles around it. He gave a short smile and walked to it, slowly placed half the flowers down and closed his eyes to pray for those who have been lost. Then slowly stood up, but noticed one more there, a little more wilted than his, maybe at least an hour or two older. He knew right away whose flower it was. It was obviously from Kakashi. Then he turned away and continued to walk for maybe another 30 minutes till he got to the burial ground where the third and Asuma were laid to rest. He placed the remaining flowers on each of the graves, and stood up, and looked to the sky. Why was it always the one surrounded by him to leave? The third had always understood Naruto even though he was a pain in the ass to him, always kind. Asuma on the other hand Naruto hadn't known well, but he remembered the day he stopped by Shikamaru's to get advice about how to manipulate his wind element. And gave a small smile. He still wasn't able to make knives as sharp as that though, but he did continue to try. Naruto knew he wasn't alone. He slowly moved to the right as to leave. The person wasn't behind him or around him, but he knew they were there. He then quickly jumped up and created about 5 shadow clones, each went in the direction of the person. And with a small yelp the culprit was captured. And there was that noisy little kid that bugged Naruto quite a lot. Naruto then placed his hands on his hips and looked down to the brat. But Naruto had to smile a bit. This kid was a lot like him, even though they had different upbringing. They were almost the same. Konohamaru, what are you doing out here? Training? I thought you were sensei, but then when about 4 of you attacked me I knew it wasn't. Pouted the boy. That's when he noticed Naruto more soaked than him, and where they were. Big brother, what are you doing out here? Said Konohamaru. After a certain point Konohamaru started to call Naruto his elder brother. Thinking, it's not like you to think, smiled the young boy. Naruto didn't even respond, just gave a soft smile. Naruto, what's wrong? Ah. Ha ha, well I better be off, smiled Naruto as he waved to the boy, not wanting another person to worry about him. Bye big brother. The more you yell the more easy it is to find you. Smiled Naruto as he walked away. That pervert would never find me in a million years. What was that? Smiled the closet pervert as he touched the dark-haired boy's shoulder. Sorry, can't remember his name, just know that Naruto called him the closest pervert. Arghhhhh. Naruto continued to walk until he reached the blonde Hokage's house. He didn't go through the front but walked his way around to the back, and went over to the pond. And looked into it, only seeing himself, and then plopped himself down hard. His wet butt landed on the wet grass. Unknown to him a certain blonde was looking at him through the door, well leaning on the door and looking at him. And didn't bear a smile. Naruto then looked at himself more and splashed the reflection away, and when it returned he yelled at it and threw a kunai into the water. Arashi gave a sigh. He knew Naruto was probably thinking of a million things at the moment but couldn't just leave him alone. So as the blonde made his way over to the shorter blonde, he put his hands behind his head and smiled. There was Naruto glaring at the water with such hate as if it was the cause of all his problems. And then threw another kunai. This time it hit one of the wires under that water's surface and it snapped up, causing it to fly by his head and loose a few hairs. What did the water ever do to you? Quote, comma, dot, quote. Naruto, come in, you're getting wet, Why is it that everything is going wrong? Ha. It's never been right here in Konoha. Ever since I have been alive everything has just gone wrong. Quote, comma, dot. Is that what you really think? Yeah. Naruto, you have done great things for this village in your short lifespan. Because it started off with me being trouble. Really? Yes. Let me tell you some things that you have done to save the village, that you didn't help start. Quote, comma, dot. Such as X. That will be all for this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment down below for more videos. Goodbye.